Hello, I am Todd. Welcome to Rebel Radio, and we hope you learned something today. And please, if you like what you see here, subscribe below and get the notifications. We're going to try and keep you updated on what's happening in the world, especially at the Supreme Court this week, because they are throwing out rulings like candy this week, and there's a lot of really cool things happening for sure. One of the things that's happening right now is the Supreme Court ruling on Miranda. And everybody's running around and they're going, oh my gosh, they got rid of Miranda. They got rid of the Fifth Amendment. Oh my gosh, we can't do this. Oh, this is so terrible. The Miranda's gone. They're lying to you. Lying. Miranda is as good and as alive, and I believe in Miranda. I absolutely do believe in Miranda and what it does to help protect us by reminding us of our rights. Fair enough? So I want to talk a little bit about where they're wrong, because they're saying that we have no more Miranda. That's not true. We're going to talk about Miranda, how it works, and then we're going to talk about the decision, how that worked, and then I'm going to give you some advice at the end on what to do if you are spoken to by law enforcement. Okay? Let's get with this right now. You have the absolute right to remain silent during an investigation, and there are only very few exceptions. But let's talk about what it means. Everybody's heard on television, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court. If you choose to make a statement, blah, 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 appointments, attorneys. We had a card when I was a deputy sheriff. By the way, yes, as in the title, 21 years I drove around a patrol car, and I've had to read that Miranda warning thousands of times. So I know what I'm talking about when it comes to that ruling. We know what it says, but it says you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say may be used against you. Right? Does it say anything you say could help you? No. They don't care about what helps you. They're trying to figure out what you've done wrong. So don't think you're helping your case by opening your mouth when you're talking to law enforcement. Whether it's a vehicle crash, whether it's a criminal investigation, whether it's anything. Talk to your attorney first. Don't give out anything that could hurt you. And you wouldn't believe the things that people say, just trying to defend themselves or trying to make excuses for what happened or trying to be what happened. There's two parts that there are two parts that happen that make a requirement for Miranda. Two things have to happen. First, there has to be an interrogation. You have to be asking questions about the crime committed. The second thing, which is the more vague one, is you have to be in custody. So, in custody could mean many different things, correct? Whether you're standing there with your handcuffs behind your back in a jail cell or in the back of a patrol car, that could mean custody, correct? You're in custody. Just sitting there, walking down the street and talking to a cop, does that mean you're in custody? Well, no, but a cop shouldn't have to read Miranda every time they talk to you. So you have to have custody and interrogation, and custody isn't determined by handcuffs. It's not determined by sitting in a jail cell. It's not determined by being in the back of a cop car. It's determining what do you feel like being interrogated, and do you have the right to leave? Do you feel like you have the right to leave? And all you have to do is ask the question. Can I leave? I don't want to talk to you. If they say, no, you can't leave, guess what? You are now custodially obligated to use Miranda. Hey, I'm done. Can I leave? No. Well then, why are you talking to me? I need my attorney. That's as simple as it is. If you're free to leave, you're not under arrest. It really jams cops up when that happens because they really want to talk to you, but they can't compel you to talk and they can't compel you to stay if you're not under arrest. They can file for a complaint later. They can then arrest you after that. Then you need to shut up. You shouldn't have been talking in the first place. Just think of it that way. You try and defend yourself, and all it does is dig a bigger hole for you when you're doing it. So remember, two things. Interrogation, and the person being interrogated must believe they are not free to leave the site or in custody. Right? Those are the things that you need to remember when Miranda is used. Now, finally, let's talk about the case real quick. This guy named Terrence Ticot was a medical tech inside of a clinic in Los Angeles, and he was accused of fondling a female person inside the facility. The LA Sheriff's Department went to the facility, interviewed him at the facility, did not put him in custody, did not take him to the headquarters or did not put him in a jail cell. But while at the facility, they compelled him to write a written statement implicating himself in this sexual battery. Now, remember, I told you, you have to feel like you are not free to leave. He made that case that they made him do it because they made him feel like he was in custody even though he was at his own work. And the court found him not guilty of the crime because they had that confession thrown out because it wasn't clear to the officer or him the custody status, so therefore it's gone. The written confession is gone. Now this guy, Terrence Ticot, found an ambulance chaser attorney to try and file a civil suit against the county for violating his Fifth Amendment rights. And that's not what happened. That's not what happened. And what the court ruled was simply that because he didn't inform him of his rights, that does not constitute the fact that he can sue him civilly. This entire case just says that Ticot cannot civilly sue for a Fifth Amendment violation. That's all. Miranda is still there. There is just no legal financial goal for these attorneys and these people to sue every single cop if you give a statement without Miranda. But Miranda is so vague when it comes to custody and those things that you're not going to be able to sue cops if they forget or neglect to use Miranda. Think of it this way. You should just shut up regardless. You've heard Miranda enough on television. You've heard of Miranda enough, in the movies. You know that if a cop's asking you about a crime, you better shut up and get an attorney. Number one thing. This entire Supreme Court judgment was only for you cannot sue civilly if a cop doesn't read you Miranda. You should know better anyway. That's all it was. Miranda is still alive. They still can get your stuff thrown out in court. If they don't do it correctly, it can't be used against you. All that stuff is set up that way. You just cannot go out and get money for it if you didn't think it was right or the attorney is trying to find a loophole to get you money. That's all it is. That's all the case is. So just in wrapping up, remember, there are exceptions to Miranda too. And the exceptions are simply this. When questioning is necessary for public safety, for example, somebody's getting ready to shoot somebody or there's a bomb in a building or there's something like that, when it comes to public safety, you do not have to Mirandize first to try and find out where that problem is. When asking standard booking questions is another one. Hey, how's your health? How's your this? Do you have any dope on you? These kinds of things. Those do not have to have Miranda. And jailhouse snitches or jailhouse informants inside the jail, they can get them to compel and they don't have to talk about Miranda either. There's also another one I want to talk to you about. You've had Miranda given to you. You said, I want to have an attorney. Miranda's been given. You say, hey, I got to have an attorney, right? Now, I've seen this many times in my own patrol car. So he goes, I want my attorney. I don't want to talk. I said, fine. Put the handcuffs on him. Put him in the back of the car. We're going to jail. Domestic violence, theft, all kinds of different crimes like that. While going to the jail, especially on DV cases, domestic violence, they will start trying to chat you up from the back seat, telling you, oh my gosh, she's done this to me many times. I don't think it's fair that I just do it to her once. And they get me when she's done it to me 10 times. If I'm not asking the questions, he doesn't fall under Miranda. Miranda is when you're asking the questions. If he wants to make spontaneous statements in the back seat to try and make himself look better, that's going in my report because I didn't ask him the question. If he just wants to yak in the back seat. So just remember, if you're around a cop and you're part of some kind of a domestic or some kind of a theft or some kind of a thing, shut your mouth. It does not help you at all. At all. So those are the exceptions to it. I absolutely believe in Miranda, no matter what. I do. Absolutely. Vega, in this case, should have kept his mouth shut and not had a written confession. It was his choice to do that. He was not being interrogated by the police at the police station. He was not being in the back of a car. They were just sitting at the clinic. And he should have kept his mouth shut still. But still, that doesn't give you the right to sue cops for a Fifth Amendment violation if you are being investigated for a crime. In conclusion, if you're being questioned by the cops for anything, a vehicle crash that you may or may not be the victim of, a crime, domestic violence, theft, any of those kinds of things, please reserve comments. Do not talk. It'll save you a lot of heartache and a lot of time and a lot of attorney fees if you do not go out and tell people tell the cops exactly what they want to hear. Below, I have a link to the entire Supreme Court judgment. You can read it for yourself. Just know Miranda is alive and well, and the only thing that changed was you cannot turn around and sue cops for doing their job. That's it. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video, and please subscribe below, hit the notifications bell, and once again, you guys have a great, great day.